angle, just like probably at about that angle in the water. Now I'm going to build another one here to show you a little bit different way to get it to hang at a 90 at a more of a horizontal presentation. It's already angled just slightly on the hook. I don't know if you can see that real well, but what I'm going to do is get a hold of the hook and bend it up just a little bit more. Basically, I've gone from straight up the shank to 90 degrees straight over, and by way of about a 45-degree bend right there. Now what I'm going to do is take another piece of wire, and we'll do it just the same way as we did before. Maybe on this one we can use a little bit smaller wire here just to show you the differences in how they look. Another 2.5 3-inch section of wire. Again, line it up with the shank of the hook, or not the shank of the hook, with the bottom curve of the hook. Clamp it on like that. We're ready to start bending it. And we're just, like I say, the first 2 wraps, they aren't going to be real tight. But after that, if you really start pulling on that wire and cranking it on there real tight, almost as if you're giving resistance and not wanting it to go on the shank as you turn it, what you'll do is you'll thin that wire out just a little bit and make it so that it lays nice and tight in your wraps up the hook. Now you'll notice that when we trim this one up, trim it up on the bottom here, get it nice and smoothed out to the hook like that, so there's no sharp edges right on the back side of it. And then we'll trim it up right here. You can see where I'm just kind of cranking it around a little bit, just kind of bending it around and trying to smooth that up so there isn't any sharp stop to where we snip that off. Whether it's to the hook shank or just under the eyelet, you want to kind of smooth that around so it just comes around nice and smooth there. But now you'll notice the difference between this one and this one is that the eyelet really turns in a little bit more because of that. And now when we tie it on a hook, you'll have more of a hang at about this angle in the water instead of this angle, just simply by bending the end of that hook a little bit. That's typically how I'm making them. I'll go into the next step and show you how I'm finishing them. Real quick here while we're doing this, I'll show you one of the things. I think last year I did a couple of them, and when I said this year I might take it to the next level, here's a couple of the things I started doing. Different colored wire. It's not really lead wire, it's just kind of an anodized gold wire. You can get it in green or blue or red. But one of the things you can do is kind of make a two-tone wrap with it. We've got the lead one on, and of course this wrap I probably wouldn't paint just because of I like the contrast of the silver or the the regular colored bottom, and then whatever color of wire, whether it's a green wire or red wire or a blue wire you're going to do. But you're wrapping that up at the seams of the first wrap. It's just laying right into those cracks between the wraps of your first one as you go up. And when you get to the top, we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to clean it up by snipping it off and not leaving any sharp edges on it. Probably just like that. And then, since we're not going to finish this one, we really want to make sure that that is really cleaned up well. We don't want to have this loose. We want everything tight, because there's not going to be any epoxy or any fingernail polish or anything that's going to hold that to the jig itself. But once we've gone back and cleaned up those ends, you end up with kind of a cool looking little dual color, kind of a two-tone look. But those are just a few of the jigs I'm making. Again, the size 10 with the heavier wire. I like that. This size here is good too. Once you get into a real small core wire, you'll get to where you can make some pretty fine designs. You might do double wraps just to paint them like that, but they really take on a wire worm look. Some of the painting, there's a lot of tricks to the paint that you can do as far as getting the raised bumps and how we do it, and I'll show you that in the next step. But I'll tell you, this is addictive. Once you start doing it, you're going to be doing a lot of them. It's just a lot of fun.